Let's make some dancing denture cookies. This is from the Beetlejuice Cookbook. And I was really excited to make these. They're incredibly cute, incredibly silly. What a fun little cookie. And they didn't look too terribly difficult to make. If you saw my last Beetlejuice video, I attempted to make some meringues and they didn't go so well. So I was hoping this went a little bit better. I did recruit Spencer and Courtney to help me with this one. Hopefully as a team, we can pull this off. To make this recipe, you're going to start by preheating the oven to 350 degrees. From there, in a medium bowl, we're going to mix together 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 3/4 cup cocoa powder, half a teaspoon baking soda, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We're just going to give that a little mix. At this point, I've remembered that I have a mixing bowl. So I went and grabbed that. And then in that bowl, beat the butter and the sugars together until fluffy and pale. 10 tablespoons of unsalted butter that's room temperature, 1/2 cup of lightly packed brown sugar, and 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. I've also found recently that I have been making these recipes and I read them wrong and I don't realize until I'm in the edit. So I spent a lot of time with my nose in this book, really trying to make sure that I got this one right. My reading comprehension of cookbooks apparently is like a 2 out of 10. So we're working on that. So we put our butter into the bowl and then, I'm kind of telling everybody what to do. And I tell Courtney to get 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, not telling her which bowl to put it in. And we put it in the wrong bowl. So we just kind of scooped it out a little bit into the other bowl. It's fine. Again, really struggling with the old reading comprehension of cookbooks, apparently. But we got the rest of the sugars and the butter into the bowl and we kind of mixed that up. It says you should beat the butter and sugars together until fluffy and pale. From there, you're going to mix in 1 large egg and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. With the mixer on low, we're going to add that flour mixture in just a little bit at a time. And then we're going to fold in our chocolate chips. And this batter was thick, very thick, very chocolatey. I had Spencer mix it up because my arm got tired. Then lay out some saran wrap and drop your batter onto that. And you kind of form it into like a little thin disc and then put it into the freezer for 10 minutes. Here comes the fun part, rolling out the dough. I always loved doing this part as a kid, but you're going to put it in between 2 pieces of parchment paper and then kind of roll it out. The chocolate chips did make it kind of difficult to do this. And even as a group, we definitely struggled just a little bit. We had a hard time getting it thin enough. And we started to cut out the discs, the little cookies, with our cookie cutter and realized that they were probably a little bit too thick because you're supposed to be able to make 12 to 15 cookies. And we were going to be making like 4. So we decided to start over, re-roll those out, make them a little bit thinner. If we learned anything from the chicken pizza crust video, the thinner the better. So this did take a while, kind of rolling and re-rolling and rolling and re-rolling and then cutting out our little cookie pieces. The dough did smell really good though. It smelled super chocolatey. So we finally got all of our little cookie discs ready and we laid those out on some parchment paper on a baking sheet and we put them in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes. While those are baking, we're going to make our berry frosting. In a small saucepan, you're going to cook 2 cups of frozen berries on a medium to low heat until thawed. And then you're going to add in 1/2 cup of sugar and stir that in until melted. While that's all happening, we're going to make a slurry. And if you've watched some of our other videos, you know what a slurry is by now. I'm very excited that I feel like a professional chef understanding what a slurry is. Especially check out our the ultimate peanut butter and jelly sandwich video that talks about it in there. But basically, you're going to take some cornstarch and some water and you're going to mix it together until it turns into like a paste. If you are running your fork through it, it feels kind of hard. But then if you lift the fork up, it turns into like a liquid. We did have to kind of play with this back and forth with the amount of cornstarch versus the amount of water. It does take a minute to sort of figure that out, but it's really cool. It's kind of hard and then you lift it up and it makes a slurry. And that's basically going to thicken our sauce. As we were getting that figured out, Spencer brought the cookies out of the oven and accidentally set the parchment paper in the fire that the pot was on. We almost burned the house down, but it's okay. We made it, we survived. The other thing too is this recipe says it's about 15 minutes of prep time and about 30 minutes of cook time. And this really took us about 2 hours in total to do everything. So I don't know what they're talking about. I'm obviously cutting this down into, a pretty short video, but this was actually quite a long process to make these cookies. Not like a quick thing that you can just do. It's like a whole process. So we went ahead, we added in our slurry, got our sauce thickening, our cookies were cooling, they were looking cute. Once you've let the berry mix cool, you're going to basically strain the liquid out of the berries. I don't have one of those like mesh guys, so I just used a strainer that you use for like pasta, and it worked just fine. But you do want to be able to get the liquid away from the leftover berries. I did take a bite of a few of the berries, and they were rather delicious. Then in our mixer, we're going to be 8 ounces of softened cream cheese and a 1/4 cup of room temperature butter until that's fluffy and smooth. Then we're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and we'll fold in our berry mixture. And that makes our little berry frosting, which also very, very delicious. Even if I never make these cookies again, I will absolutely make this frosting again. It was so good. And then the extra fun part happens. We get to assemble the cookies. So you take each half of the cookie, you add your little berry frosting, you add on your mini marshmallows to the outside, place on your top, and there you go. You've got a little cookie with teeth. It actually looked really, really cute. So we went ahead and we assembled the rest of our cookies. Look at that. It's so fun. These are the absolute perfect thing to make for a Halloween party. Like I said, they did take a while, but I did pre-make these for a party that I had on the weekend, and I put them in the fridge for a couple of days, which actually I think made them even better because the cookies did stay super soft, but the structure of the cookie was better with the frosting being a little bit colder. So they're great to make a couple days in advance of your party, so you don't have to make them day of. And let me tell you, they were so delicious. Like, I was not expecting that. Like I said, I put them out at a party and people absolutely loved them. I was obsessed. These were so, so good. Anyway, make these for your next Halloween party. Let me know how it goes in the comments. Make sure you like this video and you are subscribed. In the next coming weeks, I'll be doing even more really fun Halloween style foods that you can use at your parties. So make sure that you come back for those. I'll be releasing them every Friday. We'll see you then.
Hey, we did it!